Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Rise and Recreate podcast, a place where we hear stories of reinvention, strength, courage, and resilience, and we find out that we all have the power inside of ourselves to recreate our lives whenever we feel the pull. I'm your host, Rachel Shaney, and today I am joined by Dr. Tami, a former surgeon who traded in the operating room for transformational coaching. Through the Thrive movement, she empowers women to turn burnout into breakthroughs and step into their fullest potential. Tami, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. And before we dive into your journey, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about where you are today before we time travel back into your past.
Hello, so happy to be here. I'm Dr. Tami Berry. Right now, you kind of touched on it, right? I'm a master mindset coach, and my passion is really helping people transcend the survival matrix, right? This whole thing that burns us out, exhausts us, creates anxiety, overwhelm, and it's the thing that keeps us tethered to living the same life exactly where we are. And when just being in this work is so beyond inspiring. Like I sometimes pinch myself. I'm like, this is how I get to spend my life. This is blowing my mind. And my modality is really this like the intersection of science and spirituality. I for sure use my background in medicine to do the work that I do with my clients. I do heart rate variability biofeedback monitoring with clients. And so it strengthens your nervous system. It strengthens your electromagnetic field energy. It optimizes brain function and cellular function throughout the body. But it also allows us to become self-directed. It allows us to direct our thoughts, to direct our emotions, to become the creators of our own life experience. And truly, I believe that we've been divinely designed to do that. And as I understand this like inner architecture that is us and how we get to work with it to create in our lives, I am like, oh, like manifestation is real. The fact that we get to create is real. And I'm like, am I late to the party? Like, has everybody already known this? But truly, my work has proven to me that when we transform stress, when we do that work, we become magnificently powerful creators in our life experience. And when I get to partner with people on that journey, it just lights me up. It's just the best. And I was just celebrating with you a moment earlier that this last month, I made more in my business in the month than I ever did as my monthly income as a surgeon. And it's just this like, what? Like, how is this my life? How do I get to love my life this much? And it's really because there's a moment where you led with that, right? Like there's a pull for you to recreate, to rise to a different version of yourself. And I had that experience through a crumbling, right? Like I often say burnout is the breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's actually the awakening of your higher self that's saying like, I'm just not co-signing this way of life anymore. I'm ready to transcend the survival matrix. And it's like our ego is kind of like, but it's the only thing I know, it's like, but this is where I've been I've been trained to live here. Right. And so, gosh, I just think this is such a needed conversation. I want more and more people to hear this because I know my own experience with burnout for 5 years straight after experiencing this as a surgeon. The question that kept dominating the mind was, what's wrong with me?
Mm.
And that question will take you some really dark places.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally gave that question up. Like if anybody, whoever is listening to this, you no longer get to ask yourself that question. Like Dr. Tami's orders, I no longer get to ask myself that question, what's wrong with me? Because nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You're operating exactly the way that you've been designed to operate. The question is, what has happened to me? What has my nervous system experienced across my lifetime? What beliefs and ideas and stories have I been taught about myself, my capabilities, what's possible, transformation, what I get to create, how powerful I am, right? Like asking ourselves questions like, well, if I get to write the story and I do,
Mm-hmm.
how do I want it to go now?
Mm-hmm.
Like given the givens, you know?
Absolutely.
And so that question is just, you know, I for years didn't know burnout was the breakthrough. And until we know that, until we're invited to explore that possibility, like in what ways could this be my breakthrough?
Mm-hmm.
In what ways is this my spiritual self, oh, like tapping me on the shoulder and saying, love, love, enough of this bullshit.
Yep.
You know?
I can relate to that so deeply. I was just in tech sales for the past 3 years, which was unlike how I lived my life in my 20s, where I just traveled and honestly did whatever the hell I wanted to do. But then I had the societal pressure, you should do this. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll start a career. I'm in my 30s. And I literally blew the bridge the fuck up this year in January. And my life since then has been so incredible. So I absolutely have lived the burnout is the breakthrough 100%. But what I heard in your opening, and before we dive back into, when you were a surgeon and how your journey transpired, you mentioned quite a few times, like, we're the creator, we're the creator. And I think a block that held me back for so long was I did not consider myself creative. I was very like science oriented and mind oriented. And even though I danced and I had like creative outlets, I didn't really consider myself a creative person. That's completely different now because I realized that. But for people who might be there being like, what? Like, I'm not creative. What advice would you give them?
Do you want to be? Is the
Mm-hmm.
first question, right? Because some of us feel like we're not, and we have no interest in changing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a big piece of my body of work is making peace with who you are as you are. And then making space from this space of like wholeness, feeling whole within yourself, which actually when our nervous system is stable and when our nervous system is coherent, we actually develop like healthy self attachment, like a healthy attachment to self. And when we have a healthy attachment to ourselves, it protects us from being dependent on the opinions of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke to that already. Like you were able, you kind of complied for a moment, right? Before you had your like your like real renegade moment where you were like, okay, I played your game for a minute and now I'm gonna play mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna play this the way I want to play it. Such a badass move. Like so bold, so courageous. I'm cheering you on over here because I think that is so beautiful. And the faster we allow ourselves to go to that place, to go towards our dreams, to go towards what's calling us, and be willing, like, this is where the epitome of a growth mindset is everything. Because a growth mindset means you're willing to learn and learn and learn. And it doesn't matter how many times you get it wrong, how many times you fail, how many times you stumble, how many times it doesn't go the way you think it should go, because you're fully invested in the process of learning and becoming. And so
Mm-hmm.
we lose that somewhere along the lines. Like we had that in college, right? Like we've had this mindset, and somewhere along the way we got ourselves convinced that we were supposed to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
And when we feel that pull to do something else, I'm so curious if it's just like the type A personality, or like how many people feel this pull to do something else and make themselves wrong for it.
Mm-hmm. Or let the fears take over. Like I feel this pull, I want to do it, but here's my whole list of why I can't do it. And really
Yeah.
tapping into okay, so here's this whole list of why I can't do it. And then going into the beliefs behind that. What are the reasons you think you can't do it? It's all about self-introspection, right? So taking this self-introspection journey back to college what made you want to become a surgeon in the first place? What was your mindset? Was there any societal pressure? What did your life look like back then?
It's very interesting. And this, it kind of speaks to the power of intention.
Mm-hmm.
Two things were happening at this. So ever since I was a little girl, I was 12 years old when my grandmother died, and she died of medical malpractice. And in my opinion, as a 12-year-old, seeing everything that happened, I had already concluded that they should have known how aggressive her cancer was before they operated on her. And then the moment that they operated on her, they had cut through the cancer, and then it was just a matter of weeks before she was gone. And I pledged to myself at that moment that nobody I loved would ever be a victim of the medical establishment. I did not know at the time how powerful intentions really were.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to college. I'm very interested in immunology. I've always been really fascinated by the human body. I've always loved physiology, always loved anatomy. I end up in grad school studying Lyme disease and making some really interesting discoveries at a very young age. And publishing how the immune system is able to that it releases cytokines and can protect ourselves from inflammation. And to fund this graduate school, soiree, which really my father at the time was like, okay, Tammy's just going to be in academia forever. Like, she's just never going to grow up. She's just going to stay there. To fund this escapade, as my dad likes to call it, I started becoming a teaching assistant for the University of Wisconsin's medical school. And I was teaching physiology and anatomy of the heart. And what's really fascinating about this is I've always had a love for the heart, just just in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's bioelectrical properties, it's toroidal muscle properties, I mean, what it does, like phenomenal, pretty cool. And then I was told, it was really interesting. So I'm teaching med students now at this point in my life. And I start chatting with the professor of the class, and I'm like, I think I want to go to med school. And he looks at me and he said, you could never get in here. And I thought, isn't that funny that I can teach your med students, but you wouldn't let me be one? I think that's really interesting. And it planted a seed, because I'm just sort of like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm just even more determined to do it. And so before long, I find myself going to medical school, kind of like, I did it. Like, oh my God, I did it. And I'm loving medical school. I am rocking it. I am obsessed with the material. I find myself now I'm teaching other med students. Like, I'm just obsessed with the whole journey. But I have this problem, because after medical school, you have to go into residency, right? And I have this like really holistic piece of me, and I realize I actually am not in alignment with chronically medicating people for a lifetime, right? So I have this like problem now, because I've invested a lot of time and money in this path. And so I have concluded, as I'm like picking my electives and going through the final years of medical school, and I'm kind of like, I have to be a surgeon, because it's the only thing that I'm morally aligned with. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. And I start that journey, and it's grueling. It's like over 100 hours a week. This is before there was an 80-hour work week instituted. I'm averaging 110 hours of work a week, and I am loving it. Like, I am I am an insane person, right? I am like, we're saving lives, we're doing this. Like, I'm still, like, in the utopia of what I think my role is. And several years go by, and I have myself convinced it's gonna get better. It's gonna get every time, I just tell myself every year, "It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better." And I finally hit this point where now I'm being groomed for, like, a leadership position, and they're putting me through to get my master's degree in public health so that I can be a leader in the hospital system, and I start learning what's actually happening here. And I have a full-on existential crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the inner workings of healthcare, and I'm a very sensitive person.
Mm-hmm.
That's just been my makeup ever since I was born. I'm a sensitive soul. And I see the writing on the wall. The fallout that we're all seeing right now in medicine, I saw 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of 2012 was when I could not unsee what I had seen. And there were a lot of factors there, but I knew there was going to be a venture capital takeover of healthcare. I knew families were going to start going bankrupt because the model was too expensive. And I suddenly saw myself. Have you ever had these moments where you see yourself as like an actor or actress, like on a stage in a movie, and you're playing a part that like you didn't write anymore?
Mm-hmm.
I had this moment where I felt like a pawn, like on a stage that I didn't know I had signed up for.
Right. Like you had
Ye
fallen into it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be, and that is a debilitating moment for somebody who has spent as much so now at this point, I've spent 21 I mean, I've spent a lot of years studying for this. I've invested hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've had time away from family. I've missed birthdays, I've missed anniversaries, I've missed reunion like, I've missed a lot of life to do this, and I'm thinking to myself, "This is killing me.
Mm-hmm.
This is killing me. Like, I ca like, this is killing me." And then I found this is the power of the mind. You cannot leave your mind unchecked. Like, if there's anything I want to leave this audience with, is like, you have to watch your mind like a hawk and get really curious about all of the thoughts because they become manifest in your life. And I'm thinking, "This job is killing me. This job is killing me. This job is not good. Like, this job is not good for people." And I start realizing, here I am thinking I'm saving lives. I'm removing cancers. I'm removing tumors. I'm repairing ruptured intestines, gallbladders, appendices, like appendixes. And, like, I'm doing really good work.
Yeah.
And then I have this moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all in the like, no, yes, I am putting people back into anatomic alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, yes, I am doing that. But where did this start? Right? Like, where is it? Like, what's what's the inciting injury?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, like, oh my gosh, it is psychosomatic. It is mind body.
Mm-hmm.
It is mind body. And being a surgeon is a non transferable skill, believe it or not. It's like, there is no, like, where are you going next? So I'm really in my existential crisis. And I am drinking and I am drugging and I find myself addicted to amphetamines. I find myself actually at a moment where I unintentionally overdose.
The job is
Not so,
killing you.
the
Hmm.
job is killing me,
Hmm.
right? So powerful for us to like, goodness gracious. I resuscitate myself. And I have this moment where I'm like, okay, like this stops. This stops now. You are done with this. You are fucking done with this. And I pledged to myself, I am not touching those amphetamines ever again. I am not coming near Adderall for any, like, I'm done. And I'm good for like a week. Anybody who's listening to this that has ever struggled with addiction, you know what I'm talking, you know the hell that is. To want to stop something and not be able to stop is a prison that the language cannot describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Within 3 weeks of that incident, I overdose again. I'm in VTAC. I resuscitate myself again. And I have this moment where I am now at my knees. I need help. I do not want to die. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
am not willing to die. And so I go into rehab. I start getting help. And I knew, like, my last day at that hospital, I knew I was not coming back. And I wasn't even sad about it. I was like relieved.
Mm-hmm.
It was this moment where I was like, I just knew I wasn't going to die.
Mm.
And like, I was cool with that. You know, I wasn't thrilled about my life crumbling
Mm-mm.
around me. I wasn't thrilled about like having to rise and recreate my life. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I knew it had to happen. And I want to share this with the audience because I think sometimes there can be this story that we rise and we recreate, and it can be really romantic. And it can be like, it can be, right? It can be like romantic and like, oh, it's a journey that like you're running to your future self and you're building your life and you like, gosh, like it's empowerment on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
And there can also be moments where you get brought to your knees and you just have to say, like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what story you have. And that story gets to change over time because I'm still rising and recreating. Like, I think once you go on the entrepreneurial journey, you are rising and recreating as quickly as you possibly can. It is 1,000 ego deaths, right? It is literally
Yeah.
like however many times you're willing to die and be reborn is how you cycle faster and faster to your ultimate success, which is why a
Absolutely.
growth mindset is totally required,
Mm-hmm.
you
It
know?
absolutely is. So when you were at this extreme low moment and you knew you couldn't go back to the surgery room because that literally was killing you, like your thoughts said, what were you thinking? Like, did you have any vision of what you wanted to do next? Like, was your mind spinning? Did you what was the light at the end of the tunnel for you? How did you see the way out of this?
I didn't. I didn't. For many, many, many years, I did not see the way out. I fell into a depression. I started studying Buddhism. I went deep into studying the Tibetan Bon tradition, which has recently been ordained the eighth arm of Buddhist traditions by the Dalai Lama, but it's pre-Buddha. It's the purest tradition that has come through humans that we know of.
Mm,
It's like 4,000 years old. It's very old. And I started studying that as a way to find like my essence,
mm,
my being. And on that journey, I found a lot of things that were really helpful. But really, truly, it was as soon as I started asking the question, what happened to me? And I started understanding the nervous system and I started understanding nervous system attunement. And I started making sense of my life because it was like, how does a really intelligent woman like myself go on such a path of self-sabotage and self-destruction? Like, how does that happen exactly? And I found the work of Gabor Mate. This man has changed my life because his body of work basically helps us to understand that if your nervous system is developing in a very stressful environment, so you can just think back to whatever environment your mother was living in when she was carrying you,
mhm,
and whatever environment you were born into up until 8 years of age. created the baseline attunement of your nervous system. And your nervous system actually is the thing that dictates your life, because the nervous system determines how the brain operates. It's really fascinating that not enough people know this. So when I discovered this in my postmortem analysis, I like to call it my near postmortem analysis, I started to get really curious, and it made sense why I was intuitively drawn to Buddhist traditions and mindfulness, breath work, like to things, because that actually is very calming to the nervous system.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I was spending 5 years rebalancing my nervous system. So after I found Gabor Mate's work, and then I started finding Joe Dispenza's work, and I was like, the missing link. Right, this is it. So I started diligently working with my nervous system through modalities that I learned through Dr. Joe. And I actually use the biofeedback technology that I learned from him with my clients now. And when we strengthen the nervous system, we increase our electromagnetic field energy by 100 times. And as people might know or not know, your electromagnetic field energy, right? All biological systems respond to electromagnetic field energy. And the electromagnetic field of your heart is 100 times stronger than your brain's. And so we have this idea that our thoughts turn to things, and it's actually the thoughts that are held in your heart turn to things. That's how powerful the heart is. And so the full circle moment for me has been like, oh my gosh, I've always been in love with the heart.
Yes.
I've always been in love with the heart. And now I do heart-brain coherence work with people. It's like it has all come full circle, because I oftentimes hear from people, oh my God, it's such a shame you wasted all of those years in medicine. And I'm like, oh, you think? Like, because in my mind, I'm like, you just don't really know what I do then. And that's fine, because what I do is so leading edge. Like, what I do is it is for the person that is seeking this kind of work. I'm the only one that does it. Like, that blends real science with this sacred connection, because the dreams that have been put in your heart, the ones that we wall ourselves off from, that we're not willing to touch, they have been placed there for you.
Yeah. Well, for someone listening right now who's like curious and they're like, I wonder, what my dreams might be that I'm unaware of. What advice would you give them to tap into their heart space and to tap into those?
Yeah. So one of my favorite journaling questions for that, and I have a masterclass on it too. If anybody's listening and they're like, you know what, I'm super curious, you can DM me at Tami Berry MD on Instagram or LinkedIn, and I would be happy to share a link with you where you can access it, or we'll build one, because I don't have it's right now included in the vault for my mastermind, but we'll pull it out for you. And it's called the Vision Masterclass, where I take you through a 90-minute process of journaling and meditating and breath work, and we allow you to really connect with your heart space, because we think we're in our heart space, but we're really just thinking about our heart space. And so my invitation to you is to like really breathe and like get yourself in your heart and ask yourself the question, what would I do if I knew I couldn't get it wrong? What would I do if I knew everybody would love it? What would I sell if I knew everybody would buy it?
I love that.
Yeah.
And you can feel it too. Like you can feel your body slow down. You can feel your thoughts slow down when you drop from the head space to the heart space. You feel it. So I'm curious because from like you said, the rise and recreate story is not all magic and miracles. A lot of times it is rising from the ashes, burning the bridges the fuck up, and being like, all right, I don't want that anymore. What am I gonna do? And a lot of that work starts with like belief work and starting to recreate these beliefs that, ooh, am I capable of this? Can I do this? And so what would you say your journey was from, not having the vision, not knowing, just in the realm of studying and learning all of these things? How did you build yourself back up to believe that you could start the business that you started today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I think that is something I still do. Like, because I have really big dreams. Like, the more I tap into my heart, the bigger the dreams get. And I'm just like, "Whew, that is some big stuff." So I want to be really like considerate when I answer the question, you know? Um, One more thing I want to add to circle back to our last segment is there is an episode on Dr. Tami Talks, my podcast. There's an entire free training on heart brain coherence,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a guided practice, and it's loaded with the science of how it works. So if anybody's interested in that, I want to invite you to that free resource as well, and you could listen to that and then come back to this journaling segment. So you would get into your heart space with that, and then you could come back and write down these questions and ask yourself these questions, and you will get the wisdom and the intelligence of your heart, which is in union with the intelligence and wisdom of your higher self, which is in union with the intelligence and wisdom of source. So it's always a good thing. Um, Back to this question is I think I only really got to the point of breakthrough on the questions you're asking when I finally decided that I was going to fight harder for my dreams than I was going to fight against them.
Mm.
It was a decision. It was a decision that I am going to back myself. And if I'm going to back anybody in this life, it's going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my best investment. I'm my safest investment. I guarantee the ROI. I started getting really invested in myself with my energy, with my thoughts, with my actions. And then the money started coming, right? Because the money is a lagging indicator of
Mm-hmm.
the inner work.
Yeah,
Being
really.
invested in yourself is an energetic choice that you back with money as you build it.
Yep.
Or
Well,
or you invest in it like I mean I took out loans to go to med school, right? Like I've taken out loans to invest in myself even now. Like we are our safest investment. For some reason we've got ourselves convinced that like if it gives us initials behind our name, it's like a more worthy investment. And I had like Alphabet City behind my name at one point in time, you know? I was like, let's just stick with the MD. We'll just leave the rest of it to rest. It's fine.
do you think there was anything behind, wanting to have all of those letters that stemmed from any belief of, I'm not worthy unless I have this, or this will prove to the world my worth because I did this? Did that exist?
Oh, for sure. For sure. What's really interesting about beliefs is you can't always identify them. And sometimes you see them once you're free from them.
Hmm.
It's like hindsight. You're like, oh, wow, I had that belief. I was carrying a ridiculous amount of shame.
Hmm.
That wasn't even all mine. Like it was generational. It was in the lineage that I was carrying. And I think my drive, like even to be in academia, because like I could rock that space. You know what I mean? It's like that was where that's where I received validation.
Yes.
This is why it's so important for you to kind of know what you're seeking and start resourcing it from within.
Hmm.
I don't need less validation now than I ever did before. I just know where to actually get it.
From you?
Yes.
Yes. You know, something
Yes.
I think that's really important for people to hear is the how you said sometimes you don't recognize your belief until hindsight. And something that's helped me tremendously in my life is just being the investigator of my life and doing a bit of time traveling, okay? So, looking back on my life and all of the decisions I've made and really tapping into that version of me and what was she thinking? What was she thinking in those moments? And the beliefs I have uncovered through doing that is it's fascinating. And then taking that knowledge and putting it towards my vision, right? And where do I want to go? And listening to the things that come up that say, like, oh, I don't know if I can do that yet, or the fears that come up. And then, like, dissecting those and being like, okay, what are the thoughts that's under that are making me think that I am not capable of doing this? And when you start to investigate yourself like this, the things that come up are truly fascinating.
Mm.
So,
No,
where,
truly it
oh,
is. And I mean, you rocked it. I really think what you just shared, I want to just take a moment to let the audience know the value of what you just dropped for them. This is gold. This is gold. If you want to help uncover the beliefs that you're currently living by,
mhm,
it is this practice of taking a bird's eye view of yourself
mhm,
and asking a person that lives this life, that has these relationships, this amount of money, this dynamic, living this way, what are the beliefs, the thoughts of that person? Almost depersonalize it.
mhm,
Yeah, it's huge. And then, like you said, go to the future, like the life you want to live.
yeah,
See yourself doing that. And like, what are the beliefs? What are the thoughts? What is the predominant energy
mhm,
of that person living that life?
yeah,
And then the process of brain change. This is really important. Took me a long time to learn this. And this is so key. Listen up. What we're talking about here with belief change, with thought shifting. Okay, this is the software update. This is software updating. Okay. Hardware updating is nervous system work. So we have software, minds. I'm a mindset coach, but I upgrade your hardware with your software. Have you ever had like an old phone, an old iPad, an old computer, and you tried to upload like the last update of iOS or whatever, and the thing crashed?
mhm,
Because software can only be updated to the point that the hardware can handle it. And if you keep trying to update your software, if you're doing like if you're mindsetting your ass off right now and you feel like you're not getting anywhere and you're actually increasingly frustrated, pissed off, stagnant, or even feel like you're kind of you're actually like playing out even more the patterns that you're trying to be free from, this is because you've not upgraded the hardware and the system is crashing.
mm,
Stress accumulates in the nervous system. When you start doing heart brain coherence, you start optimizing the nervous system, it starts processing stress, trauma in real time from the past. It is like I have clients that I've been working with for just a few months and they're like, okay, we've done more than I did in 12 years of talk therapy.
yeah,
I'm like, I know. I know. You're welcome. I know. It's great. It's the best. Because we need to update both
mhm.
to get where we really want to go.
So you have the whole free podcast on the heart brain coherence, and that
Mm-hmm.
is the basis of nervous system regulation. Is there something that somebody can do listening to this right now before they listen to that podcast, just right now in this moment, some way they can tap into their body that will help calm their nervous system?
Totally. You want to do a little practice with
Yes.
me? Yeah, let's do one. Okay. So if you're driving, you're going to, earmark this episode and you're going to come back to it. And if you're at a place where you can like sit, let's sit for a minute. Let's sit upright. One of the things that is really helpful is you'll notice in every wisdom tradition, there's a a mudra. There's a hand gesture that like touches the heart. Whether you put a palm on your, like I like to put my left hand right on my chest, or you could do prayer hands in front of your heart, or you could even have a fist like at your heart. It just, the reason why every wisdom tradition does this is because there's this really interesting phenomenon that just touching your heart energetically, it moves your attention and your energy to this space. So let's just take advantage of all of the wisdom of all of the wisdom traditions of the world. Okay. So we're going to put our hand on our heart, and I invite you to just rest your eyes closed and start breathing in slow and steady and strong, and really fill your chest, fill your abdomen even. Come on, ladies. Let's like really fill completely, and then we're going to exhale completely. You can even pull in on the abdomen. And I want you to breathe in slow, steady, strong with your attention on your heart space, and out, completely releasing everything that no longer serves you. Now, if you were looking to bring energy into the body, you would match the in breath. I like to use a count of 5 and 5 if you're bringing energy into the body. If you want to release energy from the body, like you've been carrying some shit, you want to let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale. So maybe you're breathing in for a count of 5, full, steady, strong, and you're releasing a little bit longer to really, this is a deep nervous system reset. Oxygen is the source of energy for every cell of the human body. Pure nutrients. Bring that in, flooding every cell of the body. This is life force energy. Inspired. It is the taking in of life force energy. Let this fuel you and fill you. And release. Now, for a moment, as you're breathing, we're still breathing. Awakening, enlivening, letting life force energy permeate through our whole body, our whole being. And I want you to bring to mind someone you absolutely adore. Something, someone. Is it a child? Is it a pet? Is it a grandparent? Someone that when you see them, you just, oh, your heart just soars, right? You just like, you smile. Maybe you love their smell. Maybe they love yours. What is it to hold them, hug them, just peering at them, breathing? How good does it feel to just have this image in your mind? Keep breathing. And see how open to love can you be? Like how much of this love can you bring into your heart, into your being? And when you're ready, you can come back. Breathe as much as that feels good to you. And I'm just going to keep talking a little bit while you're finishing taking your breaths, coming back to this space, this room, your body. And I want you to take a notice of how you feel. How does that feel? Because what you have just done is you have transcended the survival matrix and you have entered the matrix where you thrive. You have accessed the inner architecture that allows you to meet all of life with joy and love and wisdom, despite any of the chaos that is around you. There's a really interesting phenomenon that I want to share is that when we're in a really stressed nervous system state, our electromagnetic field energy contracts. And this is like such a divine design because when we're stressed, our ability to harm others, like it is neurobiologically protective for a species, for humanity, for us to have a limited influence on the people around us. And when what you just did was you entered what is called heart-brain coherence. There's 40,000 neurons around the heart, and you activate what you did was you activated those, and those little suckers are so powerful. They regulated the trillions of neurons that are in your brain and your body. Those 40,000 neurons are so special. It's called the heart brain for a reason. Like new science is emerging that proves that actually personality, memory, self-directedness, like is all actually in the heart brain, not the cranium brain. It's fascinating. And what you just experienced, your electromagnetic field energy amplified. And now you spread that gift to everybody around you. Your nervous system starts to regulate the nervous systems around you. This is such a gift to us that are mothers, that want the best for our kids. Truly, the best thing we can ever give them is a coherent nervous system. Our body of work, the legacy we want to build, the business that we want to lead. When we lead it with our heart, the vision of your heart is so much bigger than your vision board. Okay? Like your vision board has nothing in comparison to the vision your heart has for you.
Mm.
So if you play here and you start journaling, I'm like, what would I do if I couldn't get it wrong? What vision does my heart actually have for me? What are the dreams that have been placed on my heart that I pretend I don't know?
Yeah. Yes.
You will unlock truly you will unlock the infinite potential that is already within you that you have access to, that you get to build and create in your life.
Absolutely. So I just had this very clear thought to come through that I want to share with everyone, that there is a very sneaky way that we trick ourselves into thinking we're doing this when we're not, and it's called knowledge. And I had so much knowledge of all of this. I read the books, I listened to the podcast, I knew it all. I understood the heart brain coherence, and therefore I didn't actually embody it and do what we just did, like that practice we just did, because I tricked myself into thinking I already know this stuff. But by not using it and not actually feeling it in my body and taking the time to sit in meditation and deep breath and connect with the heart space, I told myself I was doing it because I had the knowledge and the thoughts of doing it, but I didn't actually take action. So the most important thing you can do, if you have all of this knowledge and you're like, yeah, I know about this heart brain coherence and I understand, creation, but how often are you taking the time to actually take action and do it? How often are you journaling? How often are you taking deep breaths? How often are you putting a hand on your heart and connecting with yourself? So I'm curious if you seem like a very, you have a doctorate, like a very logically mind-oriented person. Did you ever find yourself falling into this trap?
Oh my gosh, I still do.
Yeah.
I literally hooked myself up to my little device. I'm going to show you. This is the heart rate variability biofeedback monitor. Clip it to your ear. It's why I stopped wearing earrings. And then you you sync it to your phone and you watch in real time that you're actually in heart brain coherence.
That's so cool.
Because I am not kidding you, before I found this technology, I was meditating an hour a day, minimum, an hour a day. I was meditating. I was going away every 6 months for 7 to 10 days on silent retreat.
Mhm.
Prior to that, I had done a 9-month intensive with these Tibetan Bon practitioners. I was in it to win it. Okay. I hooked up to this thing for the first time and I could not believe that I was thinking of my heart, but I wasn't in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was able to do with my nervous system with this feedback technology has been phenomenal in amplifying my ability to become self-aware, to expand my consciousness. It alters the way your brain waves, it alters your brainwave state.
Mm.
Okay, we don't just create thoughts, we receive them. The brainwave pattern of a very stressed person is considered an excessive beta brainwave state.
Mm-hmm.
What we just did put you in an alpha brainwave state. And now you are thinking from the prefrontal cortex. You are thinking with the region of the mind that is the creative director of life. It's called the executive function. It's magnificent what becomes possible here. I had so many stories about myself. I'm not a good communicator. It was part of why I became a surgeon. Like, I'm just going to be behind a mask. I'm just going to be like, all of my patients are under anesthesia. It works out very well for everybody involved, right? I didn't think I was a good communicator. Now I spend most of my time talking. I have a podcast, Dr. Tami Talks. Okay, this is hilarious. I wasn't a good communicator. I wasn't very creative. I wasn't very expressive. I had all of this stuff. And it wasn't until, look at the sirens are coming. They're like, wake up, wake up,
Really hear this,
wake
people,
up. It's here.
before it's too late.
It's an emergency. Listen to this. And quite on cue, because we really, until we have a shift of energy, until we have a shift of state, we will not be able to solve the problems that we see before us. Right? The same level of thinking creates the same level of problems.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot solve any problem from the same level of thinking. And so as we do this hardware work, we actually make ourselves available to new levels of thought. We transcend consciousness. And now we have access to a whole nother level of infinite intelligence that's always available to us. The question is, are we optimized to receive it?
Mm-hmm. Got to optimize yourself.
You
So
really do.
this
You really do.
little technology that you just clipped to your ear, what exactly does that measure? And
So
we'll put
this
this
is,
in the show notes for you guys.
yeah. So this little device is by HeartMath. It's a heart rate variability biofeedback monitor. Okay. It's code for coherence training, right? It teaches you how to be in heart brain coherence. I give one to every client. I teach you how to use it. I actually have a program that is going to be coming out in November, Neuro Alignment Mastery. I'm going to start certifying people in Neuro Alignment Mastery so that they can take it into their coaching practice at the beginning of 2026. Because I've had so many of my own clients have such significant changes with this that they now want to be coaches and build a practice and bring this to people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a game changer. It has totally changed my life and changed the way I parent, changed the way I lead, changed my business, made like finally started using this and my business, like it gives you access to your ability to be the conscious creator of your own life experience. Truly, like the patterns that we feel stuck with, we get to transcend them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Absolutely.
so much easier than we think it is
Yeah.
when we're doing software and the hardware updates, right?
Mm-hmm. Get
Yeah,
out of the mind and into the body.
that's right. And I still need the reminder, you know? Like I don't always need it. Like I don't always need it, but I love to just tap in and see ooh, how high. Now I play game. Now it's like how high can my coherence number get?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really fun too.
Right? What a
Yeah.
what a journey you have been on. My goodness. From
I mean, you guys, it's quite honestly. I mean, we're talking the depths of darkness. The depths of darkness. And you asked me a while back, like, what was the light? And I was like, I did not have one.
mm-hmm.
But I knew I was going to be okay. I just knew. I just knew I believed in something bigger than me. And I knew it didn't bring me this far to leave me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and real success didn't happen until I until I until I got to the place where I was securely attached with myself. And that's also what we get like heart brain coherence develops secure attachment
Yeah.
with ourselves.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what age you are. This is not
It
an
doesn't
age thing. Like, you need to learn this at some point in your life. At any age you are, you can tap into this. I mean, how old were you when
25.
you Mhm.
Actually, you have to be at least 25 years
Okay.
old because the prefrontal cortex is not fully online until you're 23 in women and 25 in men.
Okay. But even if you can't tap into
So
it
anytime
fully,
after that,
even if you're under 25 and listening to this, there's still a lot you can do to tap into your body and into your heart space. So, because I mean, how old were you when you left the surgical field?
okay, so I'm 46 now. Um, I was 33.
Okay. See? Yeah, like there's this thought we have that if we don't have it figured out by a certain age, I mean, I was like, "Oh, I'm in my 30s, that means I should have a career." Like these are just thoughts that we
Mm.
create for ourselves. They are not truth. But when you think them often enough, they do become truth to you, and that's when you need to tap in and realize, what have I created as a truth in my life that is not real?
Yeah.
So, I would just like for you to leave us with any parting wisdom that you have to the audience, any thoughts or questions that you have for them to ask theirself. And then I'll put all of your links, of course, where they can find you in the show notes. But if you want to tell them anything else about the work you do, I would love for you to do that.
Yeah, I think I just want to leave with like a few thoughts, which is like you're not doing anything wrong,
Mm,
right? Like you're really not. And you are good. Like if you're listening to this, you are a really, really, really good person. And you are meant to have a really good life. And you get to have one and you get to create one and you get to share it with everybody that you love.
mm,
Truly. Like when you believe that, you will put the resources you need in your hands to make it true for you.
mhm.
You
Trust
know, and
yourself.
yeah, you really will. Like when you just know that,
Yeah.
you will find, like, you will open to like the resources, the teacher, the next thing you need. It will arrive. It will show up for you. It will. And when you feel led, when you feel the pull, good Lord. Like, I think it's honestly just making a decision that you're going to stop arguing against yourself.
Mhm.
honestly. And I remember one of the battles I always had with my husband for the longest time was like one of our arguments was I felt like he didn't believe in me enough, which is really interesting, which is a projection of me not believing in me enough, right? Let's call it a spade a spade. And so where are we outsourcing ourselves? Where are we looking for other people to validate us? Where are we looking for other people to tell us that this path is okay? Where are we looking to other people to tell us that we're good and right and successful and resource all of that from within?
Mhm.
I have an episode on my podcast, A Success Model Worth Living By, that is so good at helping you anchor into your own internal metric system for determining the success that you already are in your life.
Mhm.
Because if you're living by somebody else's definition of success, you will never actually be successful.
Boom. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tap in to find out.
Yeah.
Oh man, what
This has been so fun.
incredible
Thank you so
journey.
much.
Yes, this has been such an incredible journey. I thank you all for listening. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your story and your wisdom and for taking us through that beautiful, brain heart coherence. That was really special. And just hearing you tap into that belief that you knew even when you were at the lowest low of your life, that you had this deep inner knowing that I will be okay. If you guys can all find that in yourself and tap into that and really feel it for yourself, you'll start to build things up from there. And through those beliefs, when you hear other people thinking like a deep belief that I have is everything will always work out for me. And I have been through some high highs, some low lows, but that's kept me anchored and grounded. And I just truly believe in that. And if you don't believe that for yourself yet, tap into our beliefs, you know? See how deeply we believe something and be like, okay, I can get there too. And you will.
So true. That's one of my core beliefs too.
Yeah.
Everything's always working out for me. I say it to all my kids. Everything's always working out for us.
Yeah.
Everything's always working out for us. And now they say it too.
I love that.
My little manifestation babies.
That's so fun, though, with their nervous system all regulated.
It's the greatest gift.
It really is. One more thing, that really stood out when you were talking about when we are in the heart brain coherence and our energy field expands, and then that taps into other people, and you can light somebody's day up just by having yourself in a state of coherence. I really hope everybody listening takes that with them, and you do something today that gets you in that calm space, and then you go and spread your energy out to the world.
Mm.
Such a beautiful
And if there's any parents in this audience, I also have a podcast on parenting and reparenting that allows you to do an exercise in real time when your kids are having their meltdown, when your kids are like off the rails, and you take a moment to tend to you and check in with you. And before you know it, you're coherent and then they are, because their nervous system is constantly seeking to attune to ours
Oh,
by
that's huge.
default. By default. So as we take the time to drop in, to breathe, to tend to ourselves with compassion and kindness and love, we teach them, right? Like that it's okay. You're allowed to have all of your emotions. I'm just gonna be here and breathe while you're totally allowed.
Mhm.
Like I don't have to shut you down. I don't need to control you. I don't need to fix you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hear that for
It's such
yourself
a gift.
too.
And then we get to reparent ourselves because we get
Yes.
to do the same thing for us.
Yes. I was about to say, I hope you're hearing that and hearing that, it's okay to feel all of your emotions too. Just
So
because we're
important.
grown-ups does not mean we don't have to feel our emotions anymore. It is okay to feel your emotions fully.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the key to your superpower as a human.
Mhm. It is.
That's it. Oh, Rachel, we could talk I feel like you and
I know we might have to have another one. We're going to come up with a theme for another podcast where we go really deep into this stuff, because it's the basis of just honestly, it's what changed my life. It's what you tapped into to change your life. And I want everybody to feel this, and not only hear the knowledge like we talked about, so you can trick yourself into being like, oh, I know this stuff, but really like feel it, feel the change, the changes within you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Incredible. Okay, yes. Well, we will definitely be meeting again for sure. Everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Look for a future episode between us, because that is definitely going to happen. And I hope you all have a fabulous day.